Hi, studio.
Oh, wait, here they are.
Hi, Bob. I'm going to put you
Oh, great. Okay, good. They're-
Right.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sorry that happened.
We're back in, Bob.
We're back. Okay, we're back.
Okay, Bill.
Okay, so we have 3 call-in lines. We got the engineers working out through some of them. We're very grateful to be at Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Oh, isn't that
And
good?
there is an upgrade to high definition TV,
Yeah.
and we are working through a few of the bugs.
bugs.
But you know, it's live TV,
That's right.
so
Hi
you know,
there. We're going to try and put you on the air at the same time.
so we're field testing stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
There's 2.
Oh, there's 2. So we got 2
Two.
calls.
We got 2 lines.
Who's on the second line? Hello.
Jason, right?
Hello?
Hello.
Still here.
Oh, Bob, are you here?
Stay on,
here.
Bob.
All right, let me go through Bob before I get on the other one.
All right.
Unless you want to.
You
I
want to try
hate
the
to
other
lose
one?
Bob because.
We'll lose
Leave
him.
him there.
Okay, Bob,
Yes,
you can hear us.
yeah.
Okay, let
Hey,
me.
it's Cameron.
We got 2.
Oh, 2. Is this Cameron? Hello,
Yes.
Cameron. Thank you for calling our show today. Do you have a question or concern you'd like to air?
That's me?
Do you have a question or concern, or you want to express a thought?
Tell him to turn the TV down.
You
What's
got-
the meaning of life?
Turn the TV down.
Yeah, the meaning of life is not why we're here. You need to turn your TV down. But thank you for your call.
We're getting feedback.
Okay. So anyway, even though we're being ridiculed by some people like
Sure.
Cameron, the point of this show is to talk about the crooked doctors in your neighborhood
That's right.
and the crooked doctors in my neighborhood.
That's
So
right.
we're going to talk about the crooked
All over.
doctors in at Jersey City Medical Center. Bob, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. So I talked to a law enforcement agency, and there are several involved now.
That's right.
And I got some feedback regarding the crime of false imprisonment
Okay.
that was committed against me in Jersey City Medical Center.
That's right.
And we're going to focus on the events of September 30th. This is Tuesday, September 30th, 2008.
8.
Okay, Bob?
Yes, I'm here.
Now, the feedback that I got was that Jersey City Medical Center,
Right.
and this is the danger that exists today.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jersey City Medical Center, their crisis mobile psychiatric unit, is a clear and present danger. These people are dangerous.
Yep.
So, Bob, on Tuesday, September 30th, 2008, I was in Manhattan. I had seen my neurologist, who also is board certified in psychiatry,
Sure.
at noon, and I was scheduled to go to my pain management treatment at 4 o'clock. So, Bob, are you with me?
I'm here.
Okay, the feedback that I got was that when Jersey City Medical Center, and they're not disputing that this happened, they admit that they had sent employees to my apartment on 278 3rd Street
Right.
on Tuesday, September 30th, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they claimed that they were there to check on me because they were benevolent and they were checking on my welfare.
Absolutely.
And all this wonderful stuff. So, Bob, you tell us in your own words what happened that day. Go ahead.
Okay, there's 2 ladies came to the door. They identified themselves as people from Jersey City Medical Center. And they said they were there to check on you. And they said, well, you're not home. You're in Manhattan getting therapy for your back. And they said, well, we're here to tell you that tomorrow morning the sheriff is coming. He's going to evict you and put all your belongings out on the sidewalk.
Okay. Did they tell you that my door was going to be padlocked and all my belongings would be thrown into the street?
Yes.
And these are people from Jersey City Medical Center.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Bob? After these events happened, did anybody from the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office call you?
No.
Did you speak to anybody at the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office? Did they contact you in any way?
No.
So you didn't talk to, like, Debbie Simon, one of the assistant prosecutors?
Nobody.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because Debbie Simon promised that she would do an investigation, and she lied. First of all, she claimed that I would have to wait until she obtained my medical records, which are not medical records; they're wholesale fraud.
Okay.
that she would have to wait until she obtained my records from Jersey City Medical Center. She never did that.
Right.
And then she made up a whole bunch of other lies. Bob,
Yeah.
after they said all this, what happened next?
Well, I was shocked to hear this happening. I mean, there's not even 24 hours notice, you know. So I called your mother was out working. She came home, and I told her what happened. Then we called you on the net and told you what happened.
Okay. So they were not. One of the points I want to make is that they were not checking on my welfare. I was not their patient.
Right.
There was no services that they were providing to me. I had told them in no uncertain terms about a week before. Actually on Friday, September 26, 2008. Okay. Bob, do you remember that we went down to Jersey City Medical Center on Friday, September 26, 2008?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yes.
And do you remember we went to the front desk?
Yes, we did.
And I asked the front desk lady to put Dr. Chang on the phone with me?
Yes.
And I told Dr. Chang, why are you bothering me? Because he had sent Jersey City Mobile Crisis
Right.
to my house the day before on Thursday, September 25th, 2008.
Yes.
And I was very clear in telling them, I am not your patient. I won against my landlords. Please leave me alone.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. Do you want to put Mom on the phone?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Is there anything you want to add to that, Mom, in your own words?
Yeah, when I was out walking and Bob called me, he was in a panic that couple of ladies came from the medical center. They got to put their locked door and out on your door, and they will throw all the belongings on the street because you've been evicted. And I said, but you was in this 9 state, you was in New York. So I call you, Bob, make a telephone call, and I talk to you. We was all very upset because even my stuff was there and all your stuff. When they come, what was the lie? What was not true? Because you was not. Nobody came next day. What they did was to just make story up.
Apparently, yes. Now. What you don't know, you know what I'm going to do now is, because I want to get the litigation points on the record as quick as possible. How can we show that Stacy Dix Kielbiowski is a liar? And I'm trying to keep this so simple that anyone can understand. So what I'm going to do is, Rich, I'm going to ask you to focus in on this screening document from Jersey City Medical Center.
Yes.
No, you can't see this on the screen. That's really good. Keep focusing in. Okay, that's good. And we want to get to Sallie. Wait, let me just organize this a little bit. Whoa, here we are. Sallie Mae. We want to look at Sallie Mae. Fannie Mae. I'm sorry. Fannie Mae right here. You want to go a little larger there? Zoom in a little bit more? Can you zoom in a little bit more? No, that's good. Okay, see this right here? This says Fannie Mae.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm gonna send this to you by email. Wait, let me just focus in here. I'm gonna send this to you by. I'm doing this as I'm looking at the screen, so I'm trying to wait. Okay, let me do this the other way. Hold on. Here we go. Fannie Mae. Now, okay, there we go. Everybody sees that. Now, the reason why I'm pointing out Fannie Mae is because Fannie Mae, this is from a screening document that Stacy Dix Kielbiowski made on September 12th, 2008. And this is highly significant because when I talked to Stacy Dix Kielbiowski, I described to her federal student loan fraud committed by my medical school and Sallie Mae, not Fannie Mae, but Sallie Mae. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, do you see the dirty lawyer trick that was played here? Because Sallie Mae sounds a lot like Fannie Mae. You understand, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the now you could say, oh, poor little Stacy Dix Kielbiowski.
It was a typo.
No, it's not a typo. She
Well,
wrote this in hand. Okay.
I see.
All right.
Some
So
version.
you could say, well, when you were sitting and talking to her, Fannie Mae sounds a lot like Sallie Mae.
Exactly, that's my point.
Okay, so they can make up that excuse. Here's how that excuse is not going to fly.
Why?
Okay, why? Because I sat down with Stacy Dix Kielbiowski against my will
I see.
on Tuesday, September 30th, 2008, and I showed her postmarked envelopes from Sallie Mae, not Fannie Mae,
Right.
but Sallie Mae.
Sure.
And I showed her the bills from Sallie Mae,
Absolutely.
not Fannie Mae, and I made copies for her.
Uh-huh.
So it is impossible to believe that Stacy Dix Kielbiowski is so grossly incompetent that she changed Sallie Mae to Fannie Mae. Now, Fannie Mae is the mortgage company.
Yes, it is.
The Fannie Mae is the company, the private company that services mortgages.
Right.
Sallie Mae is the
Student
company that services federal student loans. So if I'm, you can come back to me for a minute, Rich. Okay, so Stacy Dix Kielbiowski, and this is the clear and present danger that you live with right now, and everybody like Jason Berg, and everybody, and the next request that I make from Steve Fulop, because he knew about this.
Okay.
Steve Fulop is the new mayor-elect. Okay.
Absolutely.
When I was forced to sit down with Stacy Dix Kielbiowski on September 12, 2008,
Right.
I described to her federal student loan fraud that involves Sallie Mae,
Absolutely.
not Fannie Mae.
Right.
So, and there is no question, and it is irrefutable, that I gave Stacy Dix Kielbiowski postmarked envelopes and bills that showed this is federal student loan fraud by Sallie Mae, not Fannie Mae.
Well, it couldn't be anybody else but Sallie Mae. Well, go ahead.
But when she writes into this medical record Fannie Mae
Yeah.
instead of Sallie Mae, so she can fool people, that's a Dan Rizal dirty lawyer trick.
Well, what's
That's
the,
a Nino Falcone dirty lawyer trick.
Sure, but what's the rationale? Why would she put Fannie Mae instead of Sallie Mae?
Because they're trying to obscure the fact. This is a very insightful question. Thank you. Because the municipal court at Jersey City is trying to hide the fact through the sin of omission that they had knowledge of federal student loan fraud. They're also trying to hide that they had knowledge of federal student loan fraud because in my application for a public defender, I was required to disclose. Now, remember, my landlords had filed false criminal charges against me in June of 2008.
Got it.
So during June to July of 2008, I was defending myself against false criminal charges,
Okay.
and I applied for a public defender.
Sure.
So in that application for a public defender, I was required to disclose financial information, and I disclosed my financial situation, which include federal student loan fraud.
Right.
And I explained this to Judge Rodriguez. Judge Rodriguez knew about federal student loan fraud, and she signed off on the order that gave me a public defender.
Okay.
So today, just recently,
Yeah.
when we went down to the municipal prosecutor's office and the municipal public defender's office and
Okay.
said, please give me my records, what was deliberately omitted from those records was that application for a public defender, because by the sin of omission, those documents were deliberately omitted
Okay.
so that they could create a false record through the sin of omission. And what they're trying to hide is federal student loan fraud. So with this simple litigation point, and there are many others.
Right.
So we got witnesses, we got photographs,
Sure.
we've got documentary evidence, we got circumstantial evidence. Stacy Dix Kielbiowski has no credibility. And in this one litigation point, she changed Sallie Mae to Fannie Mae
Okay.
to help hide the fact that I was talking to a municipal court judge,
Right.
Judge Rodriguez, Nesle Rodriguez,
Sure.
about federal student loan fraud, and I gave Judge Rodriguez case law
Right.
that showed that a municipal court judge with a pro se litigant like me, she could enforce federal statutes.
Absolutely.
That would have stopped, in the summer of 2008, federal student loan fraud against me.
Okay.
All subsequent actions in New York were an effort to hide the crimes in Jersey City.
Okay.
Okay? So this is really important.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
We have another caller? Are you still with us, Mom?
Yes, I'm still there.
Bob, are
Funny
you
thi-
still there?
funny thing- funny things what I was going to say, that we all went to New York, upstate in Albany, to Mrs. Fisher for Sallie Mae.
We went to,
When he was pressing, when he was making a complaint about it.
that's actually a really good litigation point. Mom, I'm gonna see what this caller has to say, and then we'll get back to it, okay?
Okay.
Hold on. Hello?
Hello.
Thank you for calling our show. Do you have a comment?
Yeah, I like the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay away from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine at
That's
Yeshiva
right.
University.
Stay away from them.
Stay away from Dr. Kaligdin
Oh, he's another guy, another scoundrel.
at Harlem Hospital.
There you
Another
go.
crooked doctor.
I want to speak with the doctor. I want.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, Mom.
Yes.
That's a good litigation point that you brought up, because in 2006,
Yes, we was all there.
we got in our cars and we drove up to Albany.
Right.
That
And-
was much more before that you talked to the
The reason why my mom is reminding us that in 2006 we all got in our cars, and this is summer of 2006, and drove up to Albany, because up in Albany we talked to Cheryl Fisher,
Okay.
who's part of the state guarantee agency, the Higher Education Services Corporation, that they're required by law to make sure that the fraud, what happened to me, shouldn't have happened.
All right.
So
there was six of us that went.
yes, Alan Raskoff went, Javon Paddyar went,
Yep.
Robert Cross went, Ozana Radin went, Lydia Radin went,
Michael
Mike Tyberg went,
and
we,
Marlena from
and Marlene Abramova.
Right.
And we all drove up in our cars in our little caravan, and we went to talk to the state guarantee.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Mrs. or a Ms., so
Or
why don't we just
whatever.
call her, well, it does matter.
Be on the safe
So
side.
we're going to call her Ms.
Politically correct.
Yeah, well, not so politically correct. But it's Ms. Fisher. Bob, you went up there too, right?
That's right, I was there.
And we went in two separate cars.
He was driving.
Right, Bob drove, but Alan Raskoff, who's a gay activist,
Yeah.
and Javon Paddyar came in their own car, right?
That's right, yes.
Right. And this is very important too, because, and this is another
So how
legal-
can they make mistakes, Sallie Fisher, Fannie Fisher? I mean, it's ridiculous.
You mean Sallie Mae or Fannie Mae?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, they're making that mistake because it's a dirty lawyer trick, and what they're trying to do is
Confused.
exactly.
Muddy the waters.
Exactly.
Yes,
Okay. So what Mom is reminding us too is that Javon Paddyar
Yeah.
was a gay man. He was in the closet.
Yes, he was.
He came out of the closet
That's right.
at my medical school, and because this is an intolerant Orthodox Jewish school that lies
Sure.
and says they're non-denominational, they couldn't tolerate him. So they also falsely accused him of being a terrorist, and the way they ousted him from his research lab was they claimed that he was going to steal pathogens and infect the general public.
bad
So
stuff.
me and Alan Raskoff and Tom Shanahan,
Yeah.
who was his attorney, and a bunch of other community activists and people of good conscience, reminded law enforcement and everyone involved, Javon Paddyar is not mad at the general public.
That's right.
Javon Paddyar is mad at a racist, intolerant school
Yeah.
that destroyed his career by telling people he was a terrorist
That's right.
when he's not.
That's right.
And remember Lydia Radin? I am not a terrorist. Okay, so you're getting the whole feeling here.
Dick Nixon, I'm not a crook.
Yeah. Hello, Republicans. I am not a terrorist. So, Bob.
I'm here.
Okay, so you guys you're good with this. The other thing I want to double check is that on September 12th, 2008, we were handing out handbills
Yeah.
before we went in to the municipal court. Do you remember that?
Yes,
And we were outing Judge Rodriguez, remember?
yes.
And so after we were handing out these handbills to out Judge Rodriguez, and I'll get to the litigation points in just one second, we go into the court, and Stacy Dix Kielbiowski recorded in this falsified screening document that she made. She said that you and Mom and I were all sitting in a room
I
when,
never met her.
so that's a lie, right, Ma?
Yes, I never met a woman.
Bob, was Mom there that day?
No,
And we weren't sitting in a room, were we?
and we were sitting outside on a bench outside the courtroom.
Okay. So and I showed on that day I showed Stacy Dix Kielbiowski specifically. These are my postmarked envelopes from Sallie Mae, not Fannie Mae, the mortgage services company. Okay. These are my postmarked envelopes from Sallie Mae, the federal student loan company.
Right.
These are the bills from Sallie Mae, and I described to her in depth and in detail, this is how my medical school has committed federal student loan fraud, and this is how they've destroyed my credit rating, making it difficult for me to get an apartment. And she deliberately created this false screening document. Stacy Dix Kielbiowski did this knowingly, willingly, intentionally, with criminal intent. She created false medical records.
That's right.
There's no excuse for changing Sallie Mae to Fannie Mae. Okay? There's no excuse for that. In fact, just to make this ridiculously clear before we pick up Jason Berg, just so everybody knows, including the idiot Russians out there, Sallie Mae is not equal to Fannie Mae.
Got it.
Okay, there's different spellings and everything.
Sure.
So, Rich, just to be nauseatingly clear, can you focus in on this? Can everybody see this? Sallie Mae. Oh, wait, I have to make it. Hold it.
Yeah.
Wait, let me just
Black
write
marker.
it. Yeah.
Marker.
I should have a black marker. But Sallie Mae, so we get the visual. Hold on. I can't believe that I have to go through this kind of heroic effort.
That's right.
Mom and Bob, are you still there?
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay,
Hold on
so we will be talking to law enforcement. Like, are you guys clear on the litigation points here?
Yes.
Okay, so you have lots of.
Nightmare that night I pass. I don't wish I'm not my worst enemy.
That's a really good litigation point. Do you feel terrorized? Do you feel?
Absolutely. It was the worst nightmare I ever went any place, any time.
Mom refers to the night that they came and accosted me on the streets.
Yeah.
Mom refers to them as coming in the night like the Gestapo.
Dark of night.
Gestapo.
Dark of night.
Yeah.
So- Okay.
You can see that.
Okay,
right?
so Sallie Mae, if you zoom in just a little bit more.
Yeah.
No, zoom in. Sallie Mae.
Does not equal.
Fannie Mae.
There you go.
So in order for Stacy Dix Kielbiowski to turn Sallie Mae into Fannie Mae, she had to work pretty hard.
Oh,
okay?
no question. Yeah.
And the documents that I gave her, the postmarked envelopes and the bills, she deliberately omitted not only from this ridiculous screening document that she made, but they also omitted from my files at the municipal court. So today we have Mayor-elect Steve Fulop.
Steve Fulop, folks.
Who pretends that he's the law and order candidate.
Yeah,
So now I can make another request and say, could you please provide the postmarked envelopes, the copies of the postmarked envelopes, and the bills that I submitted to the public defender's office and to the prosecutor and to the judge and to Stacy Dix Kielbiowski, and because these have all been omitted to create a false record in the municipal court.
Didn't you request these documents at the last city council meeting?
Thank you, Bill.
Anytime.
And I have videotape of this,
And
too.
what happened? Did he answer you? I mean, he stepped out and then he came back.
Steve Fulop characteristically runs from the room,
Yeah.
because he's a Marine.
But he came back at the end, and what happened?
And I handed him the documents, which I will read in next week's show to authenticate. And I asked Mr. Fulop and every single member, and I have videotape, and every single member of the city council, please give me these documents because the municipal court that you're responsible for has created a false record through the sin of omission, and these are two examples, and I'll authenticate them next week. So right now, what you've got is a city council and a municipal court that's and a criminal gang that's operating out of Jersey City Medical Center. This isn't funny. You've got God knows how many people they've done this to, right?
Tip of the iceberg.
So you have a criminal gang that's operating out of Jersey City Medical Center. The municipal court is part of it, and the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office. This is the clear and present danger that these people are. This is like living in Philadelphia before there was women organized against rape to put a stop to some of the crime and corruption.
Well, it's all part of the record now, city council.
Yeah, so
See?
now the city council is going to have to do something about this. So yes, thank you. Mom and Bob, are you still there?
Yes.
Here.
Okay, so that's enough for today, and we will be following up with law enforcement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there are several agencies involved.
Right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay. Take care.
Wait, before you
Hold
go,
on,
wait,
Bye,
wait.
honey. Bye.
Before you go,
Hold
wait,
it, hold it,
guys.
hold
Bye,
it.
Bill.
Bye, Bill.
Wait.
Wait. Before you go, is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, good luck.
Good luck has nothing to do with it. People of good conscience who do the right thing have a lot to do with it.
Okay.
Mom,
Yes.
before you go, that's going to be Cole. This is probably Jason. All right. Hey, let me ask you one quick question. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
Bob?
No words in my mouth.
Okay, thank you. Who's
All
our
right, Bob.
caller?
All right, Hosanna. Bye.
Yeah, we
Okay,
want
take
Jason.
care. Bye.
Jason!
Yes, I'm
Hi,
in at
Jason. Got you back.
31.
Okay, Jason, you called in perfectly. So what we're going to do is we just laid the foundation for law enforcement agencies who are 3 steps behind me
Sure.
about some of the litigation points in my case.
Absolutely.
And I'm important because in 2008, these criminals are operating.
Right.
And Pauline comes after me. Her case comes in 2009 till now, and we're
Right.
trying to help her. So what I'm going to show now is I'm going to show a critical litigation point in Pauline's case. I have and I'm going to set this up. So Jason, I'm going to set this up, show a 20-second video, and then we'd like to hear your thoughts. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Now, Jason Berg is a person of good conscience,
He is.
as is William Doherty,
Yes.
and other people who are trying to help, like Minister King.
Yes.
And what we're trying to do is put the facts on the record.
Yes.
So, because these are the criminals, these are the psychopaths among us.
Sure.
Now, in Pauline Roman's case,
Yes.
there was, and this is happening now. So these are
It
this,
is. It's
this
ongoing.
yeah, this is
litigation.
the crime and corruption that we deal with every day.
Yeah.
So what we're going to see is back on November 24th, 2012.
Right.
Now, let me just set this up a little. Pauline Roman is doing everything she can to present the facts in her case to a judge.
Absolutely.
That's Judge Mary Beth Rogers. The audience has heard about
And
this.
then Lieutenant Court. Right.
Okay. And the dirty tricks that are being pulled is that they're trying to keep the facts off the record.
Right.
And so Inspector Gross was sent to Pauline Roman's apartment on November 24th, 2012.
The court inspector, folks. Go ahead.
This is Mr.
Appointed
Gross.
by the court. Yes.
And Pauline invited us to be there
Yes.
as part of the tenants group. She wanted witnesses. She wanted videotape.
She did.
Now, before Mr. Gross showed up, I'd already gotten all the videotape I needed.
Sure.
Now, you're going to see a 20-second video. Mr. Gross comes into the apartment, and we have an exchange. I'll describe it in a minute.
That's right.
And he asked me to stop videotaping the inspection. So I said, okay.
All right.
And I stopped videotaping. Because I already had everything I needed.
Heard me in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to describe the
Okay,
details
go
in a
ahead,
minute.
go ahead.
But I already had everything I needed.
Sure. She had it.
And so, so I stopped videotaping. Now, Mr. Gross had reported back to Judge Rogers
Right.
that because Lydia Radin, it's all her fault. Get her, get her, get her.
Yeah,
It's all attack the victim. Because Lydia Radin refused to stop videotaping, he could not do the inspection.
That's right.
That's not true.
Right.
And that's important in Pauline's case now because she's going to court next week. And Mr. Gross's inspection reports were moved into evidence.
That's right.
So she has every right to challenge the integrity of a inspector.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, this does not mean she's going after the city. This means that Judge Rogers needs to know that her court inspector, that her inspector, Mr. Gross, has no credibility. And
Right.
Pauline has a right to challenge his credibility.
Absolutely.
So when her attorneys, who shall be nameless at this point, say things like, "Oh, we're not going to challenge the inspector. We're not going to go after the city. We're not standing up to the judge."
Sure.
Oh no! What the profession does not need is weak,
representation.
Yes. Would you agree with that, Jason?
Yes.
Okay. Attorneys are supposed to be fearless, factual, and fair.
Aggressive representation would be the norm.
Vigorous advocate.
Vigorous, there you go, have a seat.
Aggression is
To
wrong.
be blind and balanced.
Aggressive representation.
Right. Aggression is wrong. Assertive is what we
assertive,
want.
assertive.
Vigorous representation.
Ah,
So when her attorneys try to create a false record because they don't want to challenge the credibility of the inspector, that's wrong.
That's right.
So they don't have to go into everything that they have to go into by challenging the report
Sure.
and get lost in all the
The
details.
code violation.
All they have to do is say, look, this guy has no credibility from step 1.
Right.
Why do I have to go down to step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? This man has, Mr. Gross, Inspector Gross, has no credibility from step 1.
Absolutely.
So what you're going to see is a 20-minute video.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
20 second, I'm sorry, 20-second video.
Sure.
Are you with me so far, Jason?
Yes, I want to see it.
Okay. So, and by the way, Pauline is concerned about my safety. So she's like, Lydia, I don't want you to suffer any retaliation for doing this. I'm like, look, I have a right to clear my name.
That's right.
They tried to defame me.
Right.
And so on November 24th, 2012, I go to Pauline Roman's apartment.
Yes.
I collected all the evidence that I needed.
That's right.
And what you're going to see is 20 seconds of Mr. Gross, who's the court inspector. He comes in.
Right.
He's in the kitchen. You're going to see him turn around. And as you see him walk to the bathroom, off his right shoulder, he's passing code violations because he's passing the hot water heater.
Yeah.
He walks into the bathroom. He turns around and you'll hear me say, "Come on, Pauline," because I want her to follow
Sure.
us. And he turns around. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I say, "Well, I'm going to videotape. I'm going to film the inspection."
Sure.
And he says, "No, I'm not going to do the inspection if you're going to videotape."
That's
And then you hear William Doherty's voice in the background saying, well, she'll turn it off then,
right. Turn it off, sure.
meaning she'll turn off the camera.
yeah.
And then you hear me saying, well, alrighty then, and I turn off the camera. Okay?
switch.
So when So when Mr. Gross stormed out and sent a letter to Judge Rogers saying I couldn't do the inspection that day because Lydia Radin was videotaping, he lied. Okay? And months later, when Frank Babcock, who's also a municipal court judge, when Frank in Jersey City,
Yeah, and the attorney for Pauline.
when he was the pro bono attorney
Pro bono,
until he walked off illegally. So when Frank Babcock on February 5th, 2013, also got up in front of Judge Rogers and said, and he's quoted by the Jersey Journal, when he got up in open court and said, Your Honor, Mr. Gross could not do the inspection on November 24th, 2012 because Lydia Radin was videotaping. Frank Babcock lied too. And we talked to Ron Zeichlinger,
Yes, we
who
did.
is the editor of the Jersey Journal. He said,
Yes.
my reporter was in that courtroom. My reporter heard what Frank Babcock said.
Right.
We're standing by what my reporter said.
There you go.
So it's blame Lydia Radin, blame Lydia Radin, blame Lydia Radin.
That's right.
So irrespective of Pauline Roman's case, I have a right to clear my name, which I'm going to do.
Sure.
And Pauline Roman will benefit by this, and she's standing by me.
Absolutely.
So we're going to play this videotape first all the way through, and this is unedited. And then we're going to play it twice so everybody can hear it, and it's going up on YouTube, the unedited version, and I'm also going to put in subtitles so the law enforcement agencies can follow along.
Absolutely.
Okay? So if you'd be so kind, Rich, as to play that video now.
Okay.
This is Mr. Gross, the inspector. Go ahead, Pauline.
What, could you turn that off, please?
No, I'm actually going to keep the camera on because this.
Okay, I'm not gonna do an inspection with somebody filming the website.
Well, you gotta turn it off.
All right then. All right. Okay.
You heard me there. You're gonna have to.
Let's play it one more time.
One more time.
This is Mr. Gross, the inspector. Go ahead, Pauline.
What, could you turn that off, please?
No, I'm actually going to keep the camera on because this.
Okay, I'm not gonna do an inspection with somebody filming the website.
Well, you gotta turn it off.
All right then. All right.
Turned it off.
So, Jason, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know why he wanted it off just in the first place, but you complied with his request, and you hear anyone in there, and everyone is lying and falsifying the record.
You know, if I was Mr. Gross, I would, because they're defaming Pauline right now. They're saying, oh, she's crazy, she's not credible, and all this other stuff.
Sure.
If I was Mr. Gross, I would want a video camera there to
Sure.
protect myself.
Absolutely.
And what do you think, Jason?
There's nothing, you cannot cheat an honest man, and a man of larceny can always beat. So he's a well-beaten man. And I myself sent on a letter to the court to protest Mr. Gross's lack of inspection of Pauline Roman's apartment, and it was not even accepted in the sense of goodwill, of documentation of a request and investigation by a registered Democratic voter.
So you had sent a letter to the court as like a friend of the court saying, you know,
Amicus curiae. Go ahead.
well, that's actually
That's
very insightful.
Thank you.
You've been studying, haven't you, Bill?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think Bill is studying.
Well, I'm really a lawyer. Okay, I'm not really. Go ahead.
So you had sent a letter to the court saying, look, as a friend of the court, and you have to share it with opposing counsel. So, and Pauline had also tried to, before she had engaged new counsel after Frank Babcock had walked off her case illegally,
That's right.
she'd also provided 2 copies of all the Jersey Journal articles, because these are self-authenticated pieces of evidence. She had wrote a cover letter for the judge, and she had deposited an extra copy for opposing counsel, because she's trying to be heard.
Absolutely.
So the Jersey Journal articles are self-authenticating pieces of evidence.
Yeah.
And when she tried to put the facts on the record, the judge kept them off.
Right.
So, you know, it's very frightening, because so what we're demonstrating, and we should be scaring the hell out of citizens of Jersey City, is we don't have a court system. We have a means of aggression.
That's right.
The courts themselves and the hospital themselves are being used as if there were weapons to beat up on people.
They can use a weapon.
Well, even it can even go down to the police department is doing the same thing. I filed a report on a fellow police officer in the city who was over aggressive and poor behavior, and it went through the criminal investigation of the department, and there was nothing seen by the investigation department. But because of his demeanor, I won anyway, because the paper that I had filed is still in his record file. Even though no action has been applied, it's still part of his character as a police officer of Jersey City.
Well, that's why it
Well,
works.
you
I
know-
won without winning.
Well, you know, to be fair, because we want to be fair to both sides, anybody can have a bad day. You know, anybody can misspeak. I mean, the demands that we put on law enforcement are huge.
Yes, I am.
So,
Well, the one thing I have to do as a police officer, every person is a different case. You cannot bring your load with you on to a different person. That person's a whole different thing.
That's right.
And if you bring that attitude on, that's going to create an altercation, and it's the officer's fault because he has the authority. We have to be respectful to respect the authority. But if the police and the authorities are going to be abusive and aggressive and show poor demeanor, what are we as citizens to do? Take it?
oh,
Hey,
that,
You
Jason.
have the right to speak up to the police.
Okay. Hey, Jason.
All right.
Isn't
Yes.
that unprofessional behavior? Would
Yes.
well,
it's
before
unprofessional
we
behavior.
criticize the police too much,
No, I'm not against it. See, I'm not against authority. I'm against the abuse of authority. When you cross that line of being blue to being whatever color it is that is hate and despising your violation of your constitutional rights, that's when the establishment, you have to say, step back, you're out of line, we have the right to recall a Declaration of Independence, we have the right to act without violence, we have the right to do and be personable. I have no right to hurt any person in this life because there's more profit to be made in a person being alive than dead. So every person in here is important.
Thank
And
you. The single best thing that Jason Berg has said is, because I know you get a lot of criticism when you're a person of good conscience and you're trying to tell the truth and you're trying to speak truth to power. The single best thing that Jason said, because he gets a lot of criticism, oh, he has problems with authority, there's something wrong with him, you know, they're trying to, they said the same thing, they're trying to spin this like, you know, you have a personality, like a mental illness, a personality disorder, there's something wrong with you, there's some sort of psychological problem. And the single best thing that Jason Berg has said, and we should quote this, you should go down in history for this, Jason Berg, is, you don't have a problem with authority. You have a problem with the abuse of authority.
And the unprofessionalism.
Is that correct?
Yeah. And it's a full circle. I mean, our society is so great, but we're so divided, we don't realize that we are owned by someone. And who is the ownership? It's not the government. It's not God. It's the devil, because 98% of the people live in fear. The most dangerous person to the devil is a man who thinks on his own and acts accordingly to be a good citizen and a good human being and a good follower of his God. And that's everything. If you follow that course, that straight line, you can go forever without stopping. And that's the beauty of man. He has the right to choose, but he's choosing to be a fool.
Okay, so before we wander too far afield, the criticism that you get is, oh, there's something wrong with Jason Berg. He has problems with authority. No, he doesn't.
Well, the thing is that I don't really care. I don't take things personally, because if it's coming from a fool, how much reasoning is there? I know I'm a good person, and I can find you can find a crack in anything. And a diamond is not perfect, and people look for the perfect time. They can attack me, but the thing is that I am of the hood. All right, I'm in the community. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. Can we talk? Can we get on the same page? Can we do something together? And can we change something?
Good.
If we can do that, we are a better community.
Good. So this is the message that, because Jason Berg is still running for office, and there might be a special election.
You never know.
But the single best thing that you said, because it's standard operating procedure, there's a grab bag of dirty tricks, and they're always the same dirty tricks, and we showed a few of them today.
That's right.
But anybody of good conscience who challenges authority always gets told by the crooked doctors, the dishonest psychiatrists, they try to stigmatize you, there's something wrong with you. It's not that we have problems with authority. We have problems with the abuse of authority.
And don't they try to make you look bad?
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I think what's good about my case is, you know, every time there's problems with authority, it's always the police that get hammered. Criticize the police, criticize the police, criticize the police.
There to go.
So wait, let me finish. So just as an aside, I'm not really criticizing the police. The people that I'm having a problem are the judges, the crooked doctors. When I was talking about this in Jersey City, I was like, you know, I think it's a refreshing change of pace for the police to see the judges get criticized for once in a while, to see the prosecutors get criticized, to see the prosecutors commit the crimes.
Absolutely.
Well, the thing is, it's not criticism. It's prosecution of them and removal of their title in their position as lawyers, and that's the gratification you get. You can, and plus a jail time and money back to the victims, because there's so much victimization going on. And let's face it, the biggest group that's been victimized outside the African Americans are the Native Americans, who still are owed, to my knowledge, over $43 billion in land and mineral rights.
Okay, before we start wandering far afield, woo! Let's try to stay on target. And on target is, we've got crooked judges
Right.
at Jersey City.
We do.
And I'm going to very quickly go through the bullet point litigation points against Judge Nesle A. Rodriguez.
do
And
it.
this is very succinct. In June of 2008, because on Steve Phillips' watch, she was promoted from the municipal court to the Superior Court. Okay, this is a crooked judge acting in conjunction with crooked doctors, and it's very frightening. This is crooked Judge Nesle A. Rodriguez, crooked Judge Fast, crooked Judge Nino Falcone, crooked Judge, well, he's not a judge anymore, but Ray Velasquez, crooked Judge Frank Babcock, crooked Judge Morena. And we haven't even started in on the federal court yet. But this is the case against Judge Rodriguez. In June of 2008, I informed her about federal student loan fraud.
That's right.
Okay, she has no plausible deniability. In my application for a public defender, I told her about federal student loan fraud, and I gave her case law that showed that she, as a municipal court judge, with a pro se litigant like me, could enforce the federal statutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, she refused to do that, and they're creating a false record today.
They are.
So in June of 2008, Judge Rodriguez knew about federal student loan fraud.
She did.
Twice. In July of 2008, I asked Judge Rodriguez for a written no contact order.
That's right.
Twice, with two different public defenders, she refused to give me a written no contact order.
Verbal.
She refused to give me a written no contact order, putting me and my family at risk. And she gave me this bogus verbal no contact
No
order,
such thing.
which one law enforcement agency has already confirmed is unenforceable and worthless.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Ain't
In
no such-
August of 2008, when my landlords violated her verbal no contact order several times, and I was instructed each and every time you come down to the court and you fill out complaints and you tell us and we will enforce that court order, she refused to do so.
Didn't do it.
And instead,
And what's really such a sham is that you cannot do anything without paper. Paper, it makes this country go. I mean, we print, we make our money on it.
Well, we know
but
that.
if you didn't receive the paper, a verbal order is
It's bogus.
no proof of anything.
the reason
And
why
this
it's
is
bogus, the
hypocrisy.
reason why it's
We know.
bogus is because when I call the police, and I know this from my work in Women Organized Against Rape, because we used to tell women, get written orders, get written protection orders, get written no contact orders, make copies of those orders, give them to everybody, give them to your family, your friends, the hospital,
Well,
the
you gotta have
police.
something to show the cops.
No, beyond that, you know that in this when in Women Organized Against Rape, you know, I was dealing a lot with women who were being persecuted by their abusive husbands and boyfriends and employers. So what you need to do is not only get that written no contact order, you tell your family, your friends, you make copies, you give it to the hospital so the hospital is not used as a weapon against you. You give it to the local police. You let everybody know, okay? So let me finish with the litigation points, Jason, with your permission, because we only have a few minutes left. So when my landlords violated Judge Rodriguez's verbal no contact order, which was bogus. And unenforceable, because when I called the police, well, you know, what do I show them? Air?
You got nothing to
Here's
show.
the air.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
something to show the cops.
Okay, my landlords are violating the written no contact order in early August of 2008.
There you go.
Me and my family and my friends are testifying against my landlords.
There you go.
My landlords already have a history of violating a written no contact
go.
order. So when my landlords are violating the no contact order and I go down to the municipal court, this is falsely represented by Stacy Dix Kielbiowski as, oh, there's something wrong with Lydia Radin. She keeps coming down to the courthouse, even on days when there's no hearing scheduled. Okay, so that's ridiculous. So I go down to the courthouse. I try to have Judge Rodriguez's order enforced. The court clerks refuse to take my complaints. That's the same thing they're doing today to Pauline Roman. She tries to go down and file appropriate complaints, and she was told to do so by an ex-mayor of Jersey City. He's like, this is harassment. You go down and file harassment charges against your landlord. So when Pauline goes down, and again, she's refused, this is a pattern and practice of denying equal protection of the law to me and Pauline Roman. So this is not, you know, one-time honest mistakes. Just stay with me because I'm almost done with the summation here. So in early August of 2008, the municipal court, the Jersey City Municipal Court clerks refused to take my complaints.
Sure.
That's illegal. And when I outed Judge Rodriguez, and the reason why they refused to take the complaints is because it's keep it off the record, keep it off the
Absolutely.
record. Because in the municipal court, this is where the criminal proceedings are going on. In the higher court, Judge Fast, in the Superior Court,
Yeah.
Judge Fast is making decisions about my eviction. So if this was on the record, on the record, on the record, Judge Fast could have referred to it and said, listen, your landlords are committing criminal acts against you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the innocent party here. Okay, so and also if my landlords continue to violate the no contact order, they would have gone to jail and lost control of their minor children. Not my problem.
Right.
My landlords are middle-aged adult people with 3 kids. Okay, they know what they're doing is
Sure they
wrong.
do. Absolutely.
Okay, so when Judge Rodriguez refused to enforce her verbal no contact order,
That's
I me and Robert Cross outed her on September 12th, 2008, and we're handing out handbills.
right. Yeah.
And it was the handbill that Judge Rodriguez was reacting to. She didn't like it because I asked her to recuse herself.
Sure.
So she calls a hospital and lies to a hospital in
Yeah.
retaliation.
Yeah.
That's really sick.
Yeah.
Okay, when a judge uses a hospital
Yeah.
to retaliate
Yeah.
against a citizen
Yeah.
who is
Exercising the rights.
who's appropriately exercising their rights, when you speak out against a dishonest judge and you exercise your rights in Jersey City, Judge Rodriguez, Nesle A. Rodriguez, doesn't want anybody to know.
Nope.
Jason, we got about a minute left. You take us out with your thoughts.
You got it.
The whole point of crooked doctors, or the most dangerous thing in life, walk a straight line and need to straight and forward. We can get more done through peaceful cooperation. And
Well-
once we have been vindicated and you've been vindicated, we'd be able to really have a free country. Because really, we don't have a free country.
Before you go any further, one of the things that we're demonstrating, I just have to say this, is that you know that you can put an agent in the field and that person can report on public access.
Okay.
Oh.
And we'll discuss some more. Jason, we got about less than 10 seconds left. Go ahead.
Well, God bless you, and God bless everyone else. And may your days be blessed by your positive attitude and your outlook.